Long after the day had gently folded itself into the quiet arms of night, there was a small village resting at the edge of a wide, ancient forest. The village was not loud, nor busy, nor filled with restless thoughts. It was the kind of place where time moved slowly, as if it understood the value of rest. The houses were built of warm stone and dark wood, their windows glowing softly like distant stars. Lanterns hung by doorways, their light low and golden, never sharp, never bright. Even the air felt different here, cool, steady, and kind, like a slow breath in and an even slower breath out. Tonight, the moon hung low in the sky, round and calm, watching over everything without judgment. The forest beyond the village stood tall and still, its trees whispering quietly to one another, as if sharing old secrets meant only for the night. And on this peaceful evening, a single lantern was lit at the edge of the village. It belonged to a gentle traveler named Elias. Elias was not in a hurry. He never was. He had learned long ago that rushing only made the world feel louder, heavier. Tonight, he walked slowly, feeling each step beneath his feet, letting the soft earth guide him forward. The lantern in his hand swayed slightly with his movement, casting a warm circle of light onto the forest path. It did not push the darkness away. Instead, it lived peacefully beside it, showing just enough to feel safe. As Elias stepped beneath the tall trees, the sounds of the village faded behind him. No voices, no footsteps, only the quiet rhythm of the forest at night. Leaves rustled gently above. A distant owl called once, then fell silent. Somewhere nearby, water flowed over smooth stones, patient and unbothered. Elias followed the lantern path, a trail known only to those who walked without fear and without expectation. It was said that this path appeared only when someone truly needed rest. The ground beneath his feet was soft, covered in moss and fallen leaves. Each step felt supported, as if the forest itself was holding him up. As he walked, Elias noticed how his breathing naturally slowed. In and out, in and out. The lantern's glow moved with him, steady and unhurried. Soon, the trees opened into a small clearing. At its center stood a quiet lake. The water was perfectly still, reflecting the moon above like a mirror made of silver. Mist hovered just above the surface, drifting lazily, with no destination in mind. Elias approached the lake and sat on a smooth, flat stone near the edge. The stone was cool at first, then slowly warmed beneath him. He placed the lantern beside him, letting its light ripple softly across the water. He did not think. He did not plan. He simply watched. The mist moved. The water shimmered. The night breathed. Time felt different here. It stretched, slowed, softened. There was no past pressing in, no future pulling forward. Only this moment, gently unfolding. Elias dipped his fingers into the lake. The water was cool, refreshing, calming. Tiny ripples spread outward, then disappeared, returning the surface to stillness. Everything returns to calm, he whispered, more to himself than to the night. After a while, how long did not matter, Elias stood again and lifted the lantern. The path continued on the far side of the lake, barely visible, but unmistakably present. He followed it. The forest here grew denser, but not darker. Fireflies drifted between the trees, their lights blinking slowly, like tiny breathing stars. They moved without pattern, without urgency. Elias smiled softly. Each firefly reminded him that even the smallest light had its place in the darkness. The path curved gently, never sharp, never sudden. It guided rather than demanded. The forest floor felt warm now, comforting, as if the earth itself was inviting him to rest. Soon, he came upon a small wooden cabin. It looked old, but well cared for. Its roof was covered in moss, its windows dark but welcoming. A single wooden chair sat on the porch, facing the forest, as if waiting patiently for someone to return. Elias approached the door. It opened easily, without a sound. Inside, the cabin was simple. A small table, a woven rug, a fireplace filled with the soft glow of embers, still warm, still alive. He set the lantern down and sat in a nearby chair. The air inside the cabin was peaceful, scented faintly with pine and something sweet, like dried herbs. Elias felt his shoulders drop. His jaw relaxed. His thoughts became fewer and softer. The fire crackled quietly, not demanding attention, only offering warmth. Shadows danced gently along the walls, slow and predictable. He closed his eyes for a moment. Behind his eyelids, there was no rush. Only darkness, calm and endless, like floating on deep water with nothing to hold on to, and nothing needed. When he opened his eyes again, the fire had dimmed slightly, as if understanding that rest was near. Elias stood and moved to the small bed in the corner of the cabin. The blankets were thick and heavy in the best way, pressing gently, like a reassuring hand. He lay down. The lantern's light was now barely glowing, its job nearly done. As Elias rested his head on the pillow, he listened. The forest outside whispered softly. The wind moved through the trees. The night continued its quiet work. His breathing slowed even more. In, out. Each breath carried him deeper into comfort. His body felt heavy, safe, still. Thoughts drifted away like leaves on water, appearing briefly, then floating out of sight. The lantern flickered once, and then went dark. And in that darkness, there was no fear, only rest, only warmth, only the deep, gentle embrace of sleep. The forest stood guard. The moon watched quietly, and Elias slept.